What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Outbreak official podcast, where we talk to people who are involved with the festival, who have played it, organize it, everything in between. Happy holidays, wherever you're celebrating this. Hopefully, it's a great time. But hopefully, you also have seen the announcement for the 2025 edition of the festival. Ticket sales are live and strap in because they are incredible. So first off, headed to London for the very first time on June 13th at Victoria Park in cooperation with the Lido Festival. We got Turnstile, Alec G, Knock Loose, Sunnydale Real Estate, and a lot more. And then it goes back to Manchester on June 14th and 15th, which is Saturday and Sunday, of course. And then it's got many of the same bands that performed in London, but then there's also Slowdive, Denzel Curry, Foxing, Military Gun, Tsunami, Tiger's Jaw, and so much more. Like I said, tickets are available now, so do not sleep. They have payment plans available and all the ways that you can access tickets to go to this really, really special event. I know this year is probably going to be even cooler than the past couple of years because that's just what Outbreak does. And I'm speaking as like a third party. I just get to attend the festival and record some of these awesome conversations. But go to outbreak-fest.co.uk and a link will also be available in the show notes for you to dive in and buy those tickets. Like I said, payment plans are also available. So that way you can just be like, squirrel away a bit of cash every couple months and then boom, there you go. You got tickets for this awesome event. On our podcast this week, I am thrilled to bring Mike Kinsella, the vocalist and guitarist for American Football, who they headlined the whole thing last year in 2024. And it was incredible. It was a really special moment to watch this band who never intended to be a band and like get popular and play a ton of shows and tour and all of these things that, you know, sometimes we just demand of bands because all of a sudden their songs are really important to us and we want to see them live. So Mike was a great hang and a great chat because not only is he a funny guy, but he's also really relaxed about his own standing as a human being and talk about devoid of ego. Mike is definitely that sort of person. But we're going to be releasing episodes every 2 weeks, but we're going to take a little bit of a holiday break. So we'll be back in the new year. So, you know, celebrate with your family. Don't watch any YouTube, even though that's probably bad advice because you probably are watching YouTube because you're watching this right now. So anyways, but we'll be back posting more conversations with awesome artists that we had back in 2024. And huge shout out to our main sponsor for this entire season. It's Squarespace. If you were looking to launch a website or sell your stuff online, Squarespace is the place to look. And you can get 10% off of your first website or domain by using the code Outbreak. So visit squarespace.com and use the promo code Outbreak for 10% off. You can also reach out to us, podcast at outbreak-fest.co.uk for any feedback you have and, maybe ideas of what should happen next year. All of those ideas are welcome at that email address. Rate and review the podcast, subscribe so you don't miss it, whether it's on YouTube or whether you're listening to the audio version. Either way, we'll take it all. So let's talk to Mike Kinsella from American Football right now.
Hi, I'm Mike Kinsella from American Football. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here.
Earnestly happy to be here.
I obviously we've potted before, so to speak, and have professed my love for your musical output / human beingness in general. And I think I was excited to have you here, not only because you are playing ostensibly a festival that's there's aggressive music, a majority of it is. But the fact that American Football not only has permeated Tumblr, but has also obviously been able to penetrate the hardcore scene, where, like, they're,
I'm not sure, but okay. Proceed as if that's true, and
Yeah, I mean, you can stop me and correct me if
I'm not here to the hardcore scene ground, so I don't know. So
yeah,
I'm here today, and there are hardcore bands here. So
I feel like I would say the ubiquitousness of American football has like independent music kind of in general, where it's like you've been able to kind of find those pockets like unintentionally, like you're not being like this master plan you're patching, but is it fun for you to like be in all of these different environments where it's like, oh yeah, like we'll see how this goes? Or
I mean, I love that you even like it's kind of the best part. I mean, it's it could go all kinds of ways. We've played terrible American football and, solo Owen. It's like I've played terrible shows where I'm like, oh, literally nobody here is interested, and that's the sort of worst case scenario if you're there to play music for people. This seems great. I've already engaged with people that are interested to see us. Everybody's been really nice. It doesn't seem, I grew up in like this, like, it was more like a local punk scene. So, all my bands were trying to sound like the DC kind of hardcore, and then we got kind of into math rock or whatever. Like, we had our influences, and there was other sort of California pop punk bands that were friends of ours, and we would all play the same basements or the same shows, and it was totally cool and totally fun. So, I think it's way more fun to have like a sort of varied experience as a show goer. So,
right,
I'm happy to be, providing it. I'm happy to provide whatever the other side of hardcore is for the show goers.
Right. And the idea too that it's like it's close enough to where you're obviously, like you said, not a complete fish out of water. Like it would be really weird if it was like.
I feel more comfortable. Like, I mean, I've seen Harm's Way. They're from Chicago. I've seen them in Chicago. Friends of friends, and enjoy it every time. And I feel more comfortable at a Harm's Way show than at my son's basketball game with the other parents.
Where they're like looking at you, being like, "So which one is your kid?"
Archie's great. He's assimilated.
Absolutely.
I got headphones on, and I'm probably acting a little weird. I probably had 2 beers already. So.
Right. at a 4:00 game.
It's just afternoon game.
Yeah. But that idea where it's like, and then obviously you have done those festivals in which it's like, complete, indie rock, pop, whatever. And I'm sure that is a whole different, like, obviously pro, like, here we go, big things. Like, you're whatever you want green M&Ms, you got green M&Ms, Mike. And that I'm sure is like, you're not approaching the show differently, but you're just like, oh, we're handling we're kind of keeping to ourselves. Like, we're really, unless our friends are there, like, we're really not trying to mingle with, Robin or whatever. I mean, maybe you can.
No, we keep to ourselves. I think we're very self-aware as a band, and I think it's that would be the thing I brag about most before musically or whatever. Like, we know what we're good at and what we're bad at, and who we are, and which artists we shouldn't talk to, and aside from that though, we're like we kind of approach all these shows the same, like club shows, festivals. The goal is to make them just performance-wise. If you can come up with if you can black everything else out, so you just play the same set the same way, I think that's what we're trying to do.
Right. You can place it in any context.
Yeah, that would be, that's ideal. The festivals are hard for us because we're so quiet. We just played Primavera Sound, and Bikini Kill was playing at a different stage, and they were bleeding through my, all of our mics and in-ears so loud. We played terribly, and it's not their fault. They did great.
Yep.
But we're a tough festival band, and
you're gentle.
We're gentle, yeah. Especially we're playing like specifically LP1 on this run, so it's extra gentle.
Yeah,
it's us gentle at 20 years old.
Yeah, exactly. This is more directed towards you as an individual. I'm going to be asking you a hypothetical. This will be, a fun way to experiment. Where if I were to wake up tomorrow, personally be a billionaire, and I'm like, Mike, I want to give you a very large chunk of this change to start something, a store, retail-oriented, service-oriented, whatever way you want to take it. I would love to hear And this isn't Shark Tank, by the way, but
Yeah.
because I don't have a
You don't have the.
I don't, unfortunately. But
Take my mic off.
I know you're like, this wasn't what I said.
What? Yeah, I thought he had $1 billion.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So what would you theoretically like do? What would you start?
I would start a restaurant. I got enough friends. I know how to do it. I mean, I don't know how to do it, but I know who I would get involved in. Yeah, that'd be like total dream.
What cuisine we talking? Like what's given your choice, like obviously sky's the limit.
Yeah, it would probably. I mean, there would be some sort of combination. It would probably be a bar with a sort of like limited,
Okay.
very highly curated, short little menu. So
Okay.
it's just maybe it's bites that you get with your drinks, but the bites are so good that you come back for them. So
Right.
that sounds fun to me. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, obviously you can take inspiration from the television show The Bear, and obviously starts with
Yes.
some of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Except less stressful, hopefully. Even though restaurants,
It might just be that stressful. Yeah, I don't know. And that's yeah.
do you have restaurant experience in regards to working in the serving industry?
No, not at all. I have I cooked for 2 kids, and they were picky until they're getting good now. They're getting older, and
Okay.
I think I've given them enough varied foods that now they're sort of like their palate's a little better. I just like it. I like the food prep kind of more than
Right.
so I just work the kitchen and somebody else can figure out how to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that though. Okay, restaurant. And that a lot of people have leaned more into the record store, coffee shop, and stuff like that. You were the first restaurant, so you're blazing the
Yeah.
trail as usual, Mike.
Yeah. Nobody ever thought of opening a restaurant before.
I mean, literal novel concept. You
Yeah.
know, the idea, like for the past, we'll say, whatever, 10 to 12 years or so, like once American football obviously became, a part of your life again, and then also obviously existing with Bowen and being able to, put out records every 2 to 3 years with that, having all these wildly different experiences with both projects, I'm sure that just keeps you like engaged to be able to still continue to care about music. Cause I mean, you're,
It's a great way to put it. Yes.
Right.
I mean, that's what it is. The being able to sort of like, there's definitely like a creative, ceiling that I hit and anybody would hit, if you're kind of doing it full time. And being able to pivot, and put your sort of energy somewhere else is like totally reinvigorating. And it's, I would say it's necessary to me how I work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have the desire to like tour, jump in a bus and tour for 6 months a year or anything. Like, I like being home. I like just picking up a guitar as I walk around the apartment whenever I want.
Yep.
I like sometimes that ends up being an Owen song or an American football song or a hardcore song that'll never see the light of day because I'm not in a hardcore band.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
Not yet. That's true.
I don't know. You never, I mean,
Someone's got $1 billion.
they could literally perform at your restaurant.
They could just, nobody's thought of that concept.
I mean, nothing is better. I know that you have played shows in places where people did not actively expect you there, or it was an accidental show.
Oh, like people eating at tables or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. It sucks so much. It's the worst. Yeah. I haven't done that in a while.
Which I'm glad you haven't.
Yeah, but being able to like, just focus on something else, it's like stepping away. If you're doing a thing and you're like, I just need to step away. But when you step away, you're still being productive. You know what I mean? Which is totally productive.
Right. The balance that exists where it's like, especially too, where it's like the approach that I know that you have taken in your songwriting in general is like, obviously you're inspired by like literal life. Whereas like you and I both know, and we have many peers, no shots against them, that have their second or third record where it's just like, dude, life on the road, right?
Yeah, and being in a band. Yeah. I mean, I sing about that, but it's almost. I hope it's from the dad's perspective of like, this is fucked up or whatever. Yeah, that's totally true.
Yeah, it's like the realness. Like, I mean, literally being like using the example of you at your son's basketball game and being like, I could literally write this where it's like, I feel like an alien as a father compared to these other, like there's so much you can drive.
And other people can relate. It's not like, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, this is is totally fitting. I'm the biggest Oasis fan. In every like interview with Liam Gallagher, all he talks about is how much drugs and how famous he is. You know, I mean, I'm trying to give him a chance to say something interesting, and he just hasn't in 40 years. Still the biggest fan. You know, I'd pay. It's like one of 3 bands I'll pay a ton of money to go see.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. Yeah.
He leans into his character, and has never stopped leaning.
Exactly. And he doesn't have to. Maybe that's the other thing. Like, if you can get away with it,
Yeah, I literally saw him the other night perform.
I heard he played a bunch of shows.
Yeah, and I bought a shirt that I would never wear in my life, but it's the funniest thing, where on the back, a picture of him, obviously, on the back, it says, "When I look in the mirror, I see God." And I'm just like, wow, unbelievable.
He does, though. I mean, he's not.
He's
Nothing
it's
but
like,
earnest. Yeah.
It's like, you're not wrong, but
Yep.
you're also, that's insane. That it's
Yeah.
just like, but then people like me really like, yeah, of course I'll be doing
Yeah,
good.
I know. Well, because it's undeniably fucking cool what he's doing.
Right.
But
Totally.
yeah.
We are thrilled to work with Squarespace on this particular podcast because they are the place that you need to go in order to launch your website or domain or sell stuff on the internet. And trust me, I mean, you probably like play in a band, or maybe you sell some stuff online. That is why Squarespace does amazing things because, well, first and foremost, they're offering 10% off of your first purchase of a website or domain by going to squarespace.com/outbreak. Go there, and then when you're ready to launch, you get 10% off. They have so many cool features and things that make web design super easy. It's intuitive. You can drag and drop. You don't need to know a line of code. I am dumb and I don't know anything about website design, and I have used Squarespace multiple times to launch multiple projects, and that is why I love working with them. They have design intelligence so that way they are recommending things for you to tweak your website, to be like, hey, have you ever thought about this section? Or have you ever thought about putting this color here? All of that stuff is amazing. And then on top of it, they got Squarespace payments. So you can use services like Klarna, Direct Debit, Apple Pay, Afterpay, all of these awesome features to make consumers to your thing much easier to interact with. So I love Squarespace, and I know you will too. When you go to squarespace.com/outbreak, it will give you 10% off of your first website or domain and launch the thing that it's been sitting in your brain. You're just like, I got to get it out. That's where Squarespace comes into play, and they will make your life that much better. I promise. Squarespace.com/outbreak for 10% off your first website or domain.
You throughout every iteration of whatever musical project you've done, you've obviously been, like we were talking about, rooted in the real world, working, gig life, doing whatever you could to obviously still be able to not only contribute to your family, but then obviously give yourself some sort of path forward to still be able to pursue art.
Hopefully, yeah.
What are some of the standout gigs and or jobs you've done, good or bad? I said standout.
I just got out of one.
Okay.
Luckily, I mean, having those different hats or whatever, like it's kept me. I haven't had too many. COVID was tough. I have to say that.
I can imagine.
COVID coming out of a divorce was tough.
Yes.
And so, again, just total luck. A best friend of mine manages Airbnbs around Chicago.
Oh.
And so I'm like, hey man, you need any help? And he always needs some sort of help. So I was like, essentially, I was sort of like mostly I was just delivering paper goods and sheets and stuff and ribbons. But if a toilet needed, fixing, I could fix your toilet. I was just laughing with him a couple of times. I'm like walking out of the place carrying a bunch of like home goods and whatever, and there's this. A couple of times I've been stopping, like, "Are you my Kinsella?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like sweaty and whatever, and so I did it for a few years, like super part time. It was sort of like if I needed the work, he'd give it to me, and if he needed help, I'd help him. So
helped him, yeah.
But just this past spring, I was like, I'm running out of time. Like, yeah, and he's like, good for you. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Right.
That was the most recent sort of like, I just need some money. But yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, especially too, where it's like, if the core of you making those decisions is like, well, yes, I obviously have to provide for myself, my kids, and then being able to be like, oh, this thing will literally help me get to the next spot where
I go do the thing. Yeah, I know. Yeah, now I got a window now where I can just concentrate on this, and I'm busy, and it's great.
right.
Yeah. I'm like so not that far removed from playing shows to nobody and making no money, and I was doing it anyway, so I don't take it for granted. Man.
Totally. Yeah, you're not like, oh man, I've been living high in the hog.
I mean, I still up, I show up and, I played some Owen shows sort of recently to like, nobody,
Sure.
It's kind of like, oh, all right, well, it hurts my ego for the night, and then I'm like, okay, get to do it again tomorrow. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
it's still good.
Yeah, different experience, right?
Yeah.
Maybe this city just doesn't mess with you. Yeah, and that's fine.
Maybe not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The fact is, like we were joking around, you starting hardcore, man. The idea that you can obviously go anywhere with Owen, and you typically, like, you could have obviously tacked on an Owen set to this.
Possibly.
But for one, do you not want to do that, or is it like, do you regularly do that? Like,
I often do it. I mean,
Okay.
I literally, I played London and Leeds
Yeah.
like 2 weeks ago. As Owen, it was at the end of an American football run, and flying home here to connect in London, I'm like, I'll just play a show. So, I mean, like, it's very common. Like, again, it's just a total perk of like, well, I'm flying through the city. I mean, it's well, like,
Yeah.
it's the best way to see a city. You meet people, and then they tell you which bar to go to after the show, and then you know where the cool place to go, and
Yeah, you're dialed in. You're just like,
Yeah.
yes, I can completely. It's like this puzzle piece. You're just being like, all right, let's put this in here.
exactly.
It's great.
And it leads to the next one. Yeah.
Right. The idea that I'm sure people interviewers like me, I'm using air quotes here because I'm not an interviewer, but like a question asker. The idea of new American football music, where it's just like, that exists probably in a vacuum where it's just like, we'll be ready when we're ready. And I know it's kind of a hacky question of like, when's the new record coming out?
Yeah.
I don't care about that, but I care about just the mode that you operate in with the rest of the guys, where it's like,
It's so the band just operates so inefficiently because we live in different cities. And
Of course.
there's so much remote. There's I don't know, a dozen kids between us and different cities and wives and now ex-wives, and
yeah,
that's a different kind of scheduling thing. It's always the goal though.
Yep.
This is all LP1 this year, and I'm always writing anyway, so it needs an outlet, and yeah.
right. Yeah, it's like, it's always simmering.
It's also like with this band specifically, like we're still sort of in this mode. I mean, we've been doing this reunion stuff for 10 years. But maybe we just started writing again, 7 years ago. Maybe that time we were like nervous that we had to sound like American football. And then we did another record that we're like, oh, we can kind of like do other stuff. And then now writing is sort of like, oh, we can do that more. Like we can get further away. We can expand the color palette of what American football looks like, so
Of course.
that's sort of exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you can be, especially because American football was obviously an accidental band to begin with.
Yeah.
So
Right.
now-
It's all made up. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
and the fact that you're just like,
It's
okay,
not like
now-
a boy band that was like formed with there's not like a,
right. Not an industry plant, as they say.
not at all. Yeah.
Yeah, you've been, if you're an industry plant, you're really doing it the wrong way.
I'm like a embedded Russian spy. Like I've been,
You're like,
planted in the indie scene from birth. Yeah.
you're like, this is my long play.
Yep.
Just wait till I'm 75. You guys are done.
And then I'm going to run for president of the United States. And then, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hopefully. The last thing I want to hit on was the idea of the reluctant frontman, where it's just like, obviously you sing for Owen, all of the projects you do. Is it one of those things where it's like, when you started to sing, you immediately felt, not immediately, but you felt comfortable putting yourself out there? Or do you feel more comfortable now being like, yo, I know what I'm doing better now than I did?
Yeah, it's the latter. I mean, I feel way more comfortable now. I think I started, I know why I started American football. We were like kind of just getting together. We weren't even like a real band.
Yep.
And then it was like, oh, somebody should sing. Okay, I'll sing. I hear melodies.
Right.
I haven't written words yet. Like I wasn't in that mode yet, but I was like, I think I am reluctant to be a frontman because it doesn't come out how I hear it. I hear myself, or I hear what I want the song to sound like Harriet Wheeler from the Sundays, like the inflection. I'm trying to like literally like copy these people that are like really good at singing, and I can't do it. You should hear the demos where I'm just kind of like, like
Warbling.
yeah, it's just sort of like, "Ah," and they're like, should we move the cape around? Like, is that in your range, Mike? I'm like, no, not at all.
It's not even. Yeah.
But that's what it is. I guess now it's been so long that it's such a niche little band, and the people who like it, I guess I'm growing into like, okay, they're still here. They must, and it's fine. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
I get, when I am practicing in the house, or I'll just like doing a thing, and my mom is over. She's like making pancakes for kids or something, and then she'll just be like, she's literally said like, "Do you get paid to play those songs?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. Yeah."
You're like, I'm sorry, Mom. Like,
Yeah, I can't sing, but I hear it. It sounds cool. The song's cool. I just can't sing it, but
right.
yeah,
You're
I
like,
get there. On a good night, I get there,
yeah, you're like, I've been able to do this long enough to where I have occupied this pocket. And while you, mother, may not think that this is a valuable use of my voice,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
she's giving you what a common theme amongst many artists is the German compliment. She's giving you the German compliment.
Yes, right. Like,
I love you, Mike, but your voice is terrible.
yeah, or you, that's so funny. Like, oh, you sounded much better last time I saw you. Okay. Sorry, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
It's literally something I can't change. I don't know what I can give you.
I try the same thing and it comes out different. Yeah.
Right. Well, even though I did say that was the last thing, this is the last thing. The idea of, obviously, touring across the world, a lot of different experiences you have in a lot of different places. I'm giving you carte blanche to say something that is so weird about either the UK or the EU, and I'm not trying to start an international incident, compared to how we do it in America, or vice versa, where you're like, dude, I can't believe we do it in America like this. And removing the socio-political...
Is this like based on tour specific or just living or life?
Sure, yeah, obviously, most of your travels obviously happen around the band. So,
yeah.
Your observations are welcomed in any way, shape, or form.
Huh. I gotta say, it's not like just because I'm here. I love coming to UK. I come here too often because less people are coming to shows. It's like, honey, okay, cool. I'll take a break. Yeah. Like selfishly, I like coming here.
Yeah, you like the vibes.
I like the, there's like, it's not really show related. It's just sort of like the humor, I guess. And like, there's like a very direct way of interacting, that is a lot of America. I think it's kind of like folksy and polite in this way. That's sort of like, no one's really saying what they want to say here. That's
They're beating around the bush.
Yeah. And then it's over and you're like, well, all we did was beat around the bush. We never actually got anywhere. And I feel like there's like, I watch our tour manager Ash is like so competent, trust him with my life inherently. And I just see him just sort of like walk up to like, pull into a venue or anywhere and just like whatever needs to get done. He just like, this shit needs to get done. He's like, yeah, all right. And the guy is like, yeah. Here's a list of the shit that's, yeah. I don't know. It's just, there's a different way of
the directness. Yeah. No, that's an astute observation of the idea of just, frankly, the way people communicate, where it's just like, yeah, there are especially pockets where it's like, whatever. People can always joke about the Boston or Philly accent and then like the directness, but it's like, even that, like, the directness is just like, yeah, fuck you. Whereas this like,
it's the directness is, it's almost like this, like ignorant, it's still sort of like, just a generic fuck you or something, but like, I feel like the insults are more clever. There's just like a higher standard of like, communicating. I don't know. Yeah,
they elevate the way that we speak to each other.
Yeah.
And obviously.
And insult each other. Like either, it's all,
Right. And regardless, the accent makes everybody sound 10% smarter.
See, I believe they are, is all I'm saying.
I told them. And then if they put on a pair of glasses too, like, you're done. You're just like, you're the most...
They're doctors. Right? Yeah, you must be a doctor.
Lawyers, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, God. Well, perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Just spill my pick. Thanks, man.
You're great. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
I
man.
appreciate you.